Oleksandra, I mean, as I sort of finish there, so far away, you're joining us from Kiev. You're sort of in Ukraine, and I know you've been on the front lines of responding internally to the experience of what's happening to particularly women and children who are displaced, as well as just bearing witness to the impact of this war on your own people. I wonder if you could give us a sense of the experience that you've had in this conflict, and where in particular that human experience really hits home for you.
Thank you very much for providing me a floor. It's a huge honor for me to be on this panel. My name is Oleksandra Matviichuk. I'm Ukrainian woman, human rights defender. For over 20 years, I have been defending human rights. And the recent 8 years, I have been documenting war crimes. But first of all, I am a human being. And I know from my own experience that there are a lot of things which have no limitation in borders. Freedom, solidarity, and human pain are such kind of things. And I will tell you a little bit about pain, which we are recording since Russian full-scale invasion. We united our efforts with other human rights organizations in one initiative, and only in 5 months of Russian aggression, jointly we have documented over than 13,000 criminal episodes. And this is the only top of the iceberg. Among the victims of this Russian full-scale invasion, plenty women and children. And the reason why I can confidently assert the following, that Russia uses war crimes as the methods of warfare. Russia tried to provide enormous pain to civilian people in Ukraine in order to break resistance and to occupy the country as quickly as possible. And when we speak with people and documented war crimes, we know for sure that there is no justification for Russia's actions. There is no legitimate purpose to force people to go down into the basement, to order them to appoint 8 volunteers, and no purpose in shooting them. No purpose in using tanks to have fun, firing at people on bicycles, whose bodies lay scattered around the streets until liberation of Kiev region. No purpose in breaking someone's house, killing the owner, and raping a mother next to her 9-year-old child. No purpose in shooting a 40-year-old boy at close range who was just playing with a ball in a yard. There were no military purpose in all these actions which Russians committed against civilians in Ukraine. Russians have done this because they could. This is a conscious policy of the Russian leadership, and Russian military intentionally ruin residential dwellings, churches, hospitals, schools. They apply indiscriminate weapons in densely populated regions. Russians facilitate filtration camp systems and commit massive deportation of Ukrainian population. Russian army persecutes and terrorizes civilians on the occupied territories in order to keep these occupied territories under their control. Russians abduct, torture, rape, and kill civilians despite their gender or age, and they intentionally exterminate local active people like mayors, journalists, human rights defenders, lawyers, volunteers, priests, artists, and others. And I will finish on the one important point in which we are starting, and I will echo the previous speakers that human pain and human solidarity have no limitation in national borders. That's why it's very understandable what's going on in Ukraine for people in Africa. We live in a very interconnected world, and the spread of the idea of freedom make our world more safer. Thank you.